Welcome to Toriano Knows Ball. My name is Toriano Newkirk. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to talk about the recent Liam Coen hiring for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to be diving into the recent press conference as well as the fan fest that took place last night. Kind of wanted to let everything that was a whirlwind of this week go by and continue our coverage, but also provide some in-depth analysis following everything that took place, and tell you why this is a great hiring. And we're going to dive into this in just a moment, but I want to give a congratulations to Liam Coen and his family for this opportunity. And thank you, Shad Khan, for making the right decision. We're going to dive into this by starting with Baselli, Tony Baselli, Hall of Fame left tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, being an advisor in this process and helping, really conduct the interviews. And he was actually sold on Liam Coen within the first 30 minutes of a multi-hour interview. And within the first 30 minutes, he suggested that they take a break and tell Shad Khan that this is their guy. With Baselli saying this is, high praise. This means that he was able to lay the foundation in front of them, concise, clear, to the point, and upfront. This guy has a vision for Trevor Lawrence, for Brian Thomas Jr., for our running backs in Travis Etienne and Tanks Bigsby. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has outlined for these guys, what the game plan will be. As he stated in the Fan Fest, he would like to get Brian Thomas Jr. at least 10 targets a game. That should be the answer. If you listen to me on ESPN 690 this past season, you will know that my game plan and our key to winning was getting Brian Thomas Jr. the ball early and often. So to hear that was music to my ears. And for him to lay that groundwork out to Baselli was very impressive. We're going to be talking about the offensive line being a priority as well, and that was music to Baselli's ears and mine. If you have heard me talk on Tony Wiggins' show Locked On Jaguars as well, you will know that the offensive line is a priority for me. And to hear that for this team, knowing the background for him, working under McVay, and then what he's done with the success in Tampa, having a top five offense in terms of rushing offense and passing offense, he knows that that O-line is the key to everything. If you don't have an O-line, you can't move the ball. And with him coming off a season having an all-pro tackle in Tristan Wirfs, I am banking on the potential of an Anton Harrison, hopefully making a big jump this year in year 3. So that's my thoughts on Baselli, how he felt on the offense, as far as what the groundwork was for Liam Coen. But I want to dive a little bit more into what the staff is going to entitle. This week has been really preliminary. He's been in the office a ton, but he's really just been conducting interviews. He's been getting into it with the staff. As we know, we have Heath Farwell returning for a special teams coach position. Phenomenal. He was the best coach that should remain on the staff from this past season, having 2 All-Pros as well as a great season from Cam Little, who had a spectacular rookie season. And he is the kicker of the future and should be the kicker on this team for the next 10 to 15 years, in my opinion. We have the groundwork there on special teams, even on the return end as well as on the defending end. So we have the groundwork there. We have the guys there. Special teams is in a great place, and it might be one of our stronger units on this team. So it's great to keep Heath Farwell, and I'm excited to have him back. 2 guys that have been mentioned to be kept are tight ends coach Angelo, as well as the running backs assistant coach, Tyler Tuttleton. And excuse me, I'll say Richard Angelo or Angelo. He is the tight ends coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars that should be returning. We look forward to his return as he's done a great job with Evan Ingram, Brenton Strange, as well as Luke Farrell, pending free agent Luke Farrell, by the way. Look forward to addressing that position in our upcoming mock draft. But phenomenal guys. I think that you can make Tuttleton your running back coach and feel confident, but he's worked as a running back and wide receiver coach in the NFL. The staff is the biggest priority right now. We need that O-line coach. Currently, we're working on our OC as well, but we have our defensive coordinator in place in Anthony Campanelli. And I look forward to this guy because he brings the juice every time he steps in the building. It's it's a sight to see. If you have not seen it on X or Twitter formerly, you need to see it. This guy brings it every day in the office, on the field, on the practice field. This guy is there every second and he's consistent. And I think the players respect it, they appreciate it, and you see it if you've watched Hard Knocks with the Miami Dolphins. These guys get it. They think that he is a phenomenal person, a phenomenal coach, and just an all-around great guy. I am excited to have him. Packers fans are upset, so that means you got a good one. The Packers analysts are excited for the Jaguars, and the Jaguars fans knowing that they got a good one. I think this guy has the makings of a great defensive coordinator, and I've heard a lot of chatter today that this guy could be a future head coach. So anytime you got a guy on your team, on your staff that could be a future head coach, you know you made a good hire. So props to Liam Coen for making a great first splash. Obviously, it's not the most experienced guy at defensive coordinator. A lot of people wanted a former head coach. But for me, it was just about getting the right guy. It didn't necessarily matter about him having previous head coaching experience, although that was a great plus. Patrick Graham would have been nice, but obviously he stuck with the Raiders. So you have to go with the next best option, and I think that Campanelli was. Looking at his experience between the pros and college as well as in high school, having success at all three levels. So excited about the defensive coordinator, as well as the search for our offensive coordinator and an O-line coach, which has been stated to be a priority. So look forward to seeing a O-line and offensive coordinator coach coming in within the next few days, possibly within the next 7 days. And I know Coen is at work and he's really hitting the ground running. So staff is a very big important part of this team, and Coen is very, very set on making this a great unit. But he wants this team to have a lot of pride in football. That's where his background is. His father was a former coach, and he grew up around the game. He's excited to be around the game. He's excited to be a head coach. This is the dream he's been working for. So I'm excited for him and his family, and I think he's going to bring a lot of pride to the pride. So I'm excited for this. We've talked about BTJ, we've talked about ETN, but what does this mean for Trevor Lawrence? This is a guy that just helped Baker Mayfield throw for 4,000 plus yards and 40 plus touchdowns. When have you seen a Jacksonville Jaguar quarterback do that in your lifetime? Not very often, I would assume. I'll let you leave that below in the comments. But this is good news. This guy made Will Levis look like a top 5 pick. Although he did kind of have some bumps during the combine, didn't really nail the pre-draft process. It was, he was a big riser during that year, and he had a lot of buzz coming in, and Tennessee thought they had their guy. And I won't sit here and say that he's not their guy, but they might take one in this draft. So we've seen him have success with quarterbacks at each level. Baker and all, as well as other Tampa Buccaneers players, love Coen. They love him as a person. They love him as a coach. Love him as a mentor. And they're excited for him to have this opportunity, as reported. But that means he's going to be able to build some relationships in this building and have some lasting effect. And I hope it does well with my quarterback and my wide receiver. Seeing him interact with Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence, they're trying to get their rapport, kind of understand each other, kind of get to know each other. I think it's big that they start this now and kind of have some correlation as far as what the language will be in terms of the offense and how they want to build this thing from the ground up around these two guys. I think that is the focal point. These are your two best players, two Pro Bowlers. You still have Evan Ingram. You still have Christian Kirk, although he might be out the door. It depends on who you talk to. And you still have two stud running backs. So building this offensive line, like we talked about earlier, is going to be the biggest point of emphasis. We're going to possibly do a building the O-line video. Look forward to sharing that with you guys. But just wanted to get my thoughts out there as far as this. And he's really excited to really work with Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., as well as a former Kentucky player, Josh Hines Allen, who was there while he was in his first stint with Kentucky. So I'm looking forward to seeing him interact with Josh Hines Allen. We have not seen that on film yet, but this should be very exciting for Jaguars fans, especially Jaguars and Kentucky fans. Um, this is going to be some exciting times, and we do know that Coen is here for the next 5 years, as long as there are no setbacks. And I look forward to seeing him have a ton of success here in Duval. You drop one in the comments below. Uh, Next, Coen endorsed the throwback jerseys at the Fan Fest. We could see some more prowlers. We could see an update to the uniforms. With him endorsing it, him having a little say into how things operate on the operating side, we could see it come back. It's about time. We could see it within the next 3 years between the remodel of the stadium, with all the renovations taking place and with all the moving parts. I don't know if we see it in 2025. We could see it in 26. We could see it in 27. But we do know he has a positive take on the Prowlers, and I look forward to seeing some more throwbacks. He understands that this city is yearning for success. He understands that the city is built for success. We have a lot of fighters here. There's a lot of grit in that locker room, but they need some toughness. They need dogs. We have dogs, but I need a kennel. And when I say I need a kennel, I need a full draft class of them, and you got to go grab a couple guys out of free agency. I know that's going to be the focal point after we find our general manager before February 28th. That's going to be a key point, but I do look forward to seeing him really, really push for the physicality. And his motto is fast, and that is fundamentally sound, attacking, situational masters, as well as tough, physically and mentally. You have to be mentally and physically tough to be on this team. If you're not fundamentally sound, you don't play. If you're not attacking the ball, which Ryan Nielsen was stating he was going to do last year, you're not playing. Attack every play like it's your last. And I think that's what's going to happen under Anthony Campanelli on the defensive side of the ball. That guy is full of juice. That's what this defense needs. And I know it's not for everybody. I know that teaching style is not for everybody, but this team needs it. These leaders need it. Our top end guys deserve it. Josh Hines Allen should be an all-pro. Travon Walker should be at the Pro Bowl. There's plenty of guys that deserve their shot at success, whether it be individual or team success. So that's how I feel about his mentality. Coen is bringing something that is refreshing here. He's really answering everything that we've been talking about, whether it be over the past 3 years under Doug. Excuse me, but it's really been a change, a refreshing change, and it was what the Jaguars needed. Coen is answering every question. Coen is being responsive. Coen is laying out the groundwork. He's being honest about what the approach is, while also not giving away a game plan. But the groundwork that he has established, just off stating what he wants to do with this team, is exactly what the fans want to hear. It's what we've been screaming on social media, at the TV, in bars, at our family members, you name it. Everything that he's saying is what this team needs. So I'm excited for this hire. He also mentioned that we want to light up the scoreboard. And when you talk about draft picks, Teteroy McMillan just might be the guy at 5. Now, he also did mention being physical up front and how he wants to pack a punch. And he wants people to know that they're in Duval, whether we're in Jacksonville, Orlando, wherever, London, you're going to know about Duval. So Mason Graham could be a selection there as well. I would be excited about both selections. Travis Hunter could slide. I know somebody's going to comment about that in the comments. But, I mean, just hearing him talk draft, we have never had a head coach do that. Asking for suggestions to the audience. I mean, this guy has the swag of, dare I say, King Tip. I I don't know who else to compare it to. When you look at the videos of this guy has swagger like no one. But man, this is an A+ hiring. If you've heard any analysts say, which candidate would you put your money on to be the first to get to the playoffs or the first to win a Super Bowl, a lot of them are saying Coen. And now I'm not here promoting for CBS. I'm not here promoting for the theatrics. I will say there's some merit. We're in the AFC South. The Texans are not set up for continuous success. They're having injury issues. They have a new OC coming in, regardless of who the selection is. And Stroud hit a sophomore slump, like many of us projected. So the Colts are the Colts. And the Titans, they're going to be bottom dwellers for the next few years unless they really hit that #1 overall pick. So I just want to wrap this up by saying Duval. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Toriano with Toriano Knows Ball. You can follow me at Toriano Knows Ball on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as TikTok. Keep up with the coverage, and thank you guys for watching.